Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where we'll be going over the various details that are currently provided related to the upcoming 5th season of Deep Rock Galactic. So, very excited about the information and just want to go over the information, toss a few ideas out and just have fun while I'm doing so. So, yeah, we'll just get right into it and just start from the top. Now, of course, the season is related to Rogue Core since that's a game that's coming up relatively soon, relatively in development, so they want to release a season that goes along with it, so makes sense there. And yeah, new mission type. That's pretty exciting, relatively. It involves searching. Now, I don't want to be pedantic, but searching is part of DRG kind of as a base concept. For Morkite missions, you search for Morkite, egg missions, you search for eggs, Dreadnought, missions, you search for cocoons and all that stuff, and Arc missions, you search for Arc, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to be pedantic and all that stuff, but that searching does not narrow down much. But serious, jokes aside, it'll be kind of interesting if we possibly get a more open-ended mission structure where we have more wide open areas and you have to find certain events within those wide open cavern areas. That could be really interesting because DRG can have some really big rooms sometimes. So when they decide to make a cavern that's so far that even max draw distance can't see the other end of it. So if we get a possible mission type that involves that, searching around in those big a packed cavern with that level of scale, that'd be pretty good. So of course they probably have their own ideas, but if it's an interesting concept and I'm definitely excited. So yeah, pretty excited overall with that. New enemies, some mobile, some stationary. So of course new enemies, very good, always quite nice. And there's a few ways this can go. There's about 3 ways. They can do the whole tribe kind of structure of enemies. They can have random stuff, or they could have a mix of both. And what I mean by tribe is, for the first 2 seasons, you had the rival tech robots, that tribe of enemies, the shredders and the patrol bots and all that stuff. And for the next 2 seasons after that, you had the Rawpox stuff, that whole tribe of enemies. So if there is a major antagonist to Rogue Core, it's most likely a tribe of those enemies, possibly, if they go for that route. So whatever the main antagonist of Rogue Core is, we'll probably get a bunch of variations of that are a faction of enemies that pop up to attack you during some events or certain mission types. So a new mission type involves searching. You could be searching around a cavern and get attacked by those enemies, so that's a definite possibility. But they could also do the random selection concept, which could be interesting. So if Rogue Core, I guess they can do that concept if they were going for the idea of Hoxie's is pissed that it got constantly stomped on by Deep Rock Galactic as a company, the rival tech and Rawpox. So it's basically just gonna throw everything at the wall and just try and purge everything off it, basically. So as a concept, a rapid evolution of stuff. So we can have a random Actera enemy, a few unique enemies possibly, a few glyphid enemies possibly that are new, and there's a bunch of random enemies that pop up across the entire spectrum of missions, in biomes and all that stuff, which could be interesting. So, and I think that's honestly probably a little more preferable in my personal opinion, because when you're dealing with a tribe-based faction of enemies, they only pop up during certain missions or events. Rawpox stuff only appears when you have the Rawpox hazard, the modifier for those missions, and of course the rival tech stuff can also appear randomly, but also only spawns within either rival presence modifiers or the actual industrial sabotage missions. So having a bunch of random enemies that populate the game as a whole can make it a lot more balanced, so that instead of all the enemies being in one corner, to kind of spread out, so it makes it a little more open-ended and a little more fulfilling relatively, to fill up some gaps, because some biomes, especially crystalline caverns and magma core, they don't really have unique enemies, so I think it'll be kind of nice if we can possibly get some random enemies that fill up the gap of biome-specific enemies that can fill a gap for certain biomes where they don't have a unique enemy or something that makes it a little more unique. And of course, they can always just do a mishmash of both, where they have a set of enemies for like a tribe related to the events and all that stuff, and then they have a few stuff on the side. So like, you know, like you have the Rawpox stuff, and then you had the Stingtail and the I forgot the other Glyphid's name. Septic Spreader. So you can basically have kind of like that concept where you have like the Rawpox stuff and then the two generic Glyphid types, which, you know, I think it's a fair balance. Like either way, like no matter how like stuff pans out, I'm still excited. So like, and also we get some more stationary enemies, which is quite nice apparently. So at least that's what it says. Of course, all of these details are not. This is stuff they're willing to bring up right now. So of course, some of the stuff is not guaranteed per se, but you know, if we get some stationary enemies that are a little more unique, because like currently right now we have the Deep Tora Hives, the Cave Leeches, and the Spitballers as like the major, and also the Stabber Vines is like the major stationary enemies. So we can get a few more like more unique stationary enemies. That'd be pretty nice to fill up the roster a little bit more. So yeah, either way, I'm pretty excited, very happy, and yeah, just overall just very happy with new stuff because I'm a big fan of like enemy variations, and I'm just very excited. So yeah, very happy with that. New overclocks, 1 for each primary weapon, 12 in total. Very wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful, like, perfect. Because I feel like game, of course, more overclocks, more, you know, builds to try out, more strategies to try out. And of course, I'm not expecting every single primary weapon overclock to be quote-unquote unique, as in like, you know, there's like, of course, some of the overclocks are possibly just, you know, like plus 10 to damage, or, you know, like it's just standard like Queen overclock just buffs the stats possibly. But if we get any like unique quote unquote overclocks where they add actual mechanics to the weapon, you know, like giving autocannon like freezing for example, or frost damage and all that stuff, like that's pretty good. So like pretty excited, and since, you know, 12 and overclocks is pretty good, so that's also a decent amount of progression as well. So more content and more stuff, very happy with that. So yeah, looking forward to it. And even if we get like half-ish unique overclocks that add actual unique mechanics to weapons, I consider that a pretty good win. So yeah, because I know like at some point it's going to be a little bit harder to get like working concepts to like fully develop them, because eventually you're going to have like some overclocks are going to be very close, like very similar to each other. You know, like for cryo cannon you have the snowball and ice spear, which are very very similar to each other. So at some point it's going to be a little bit difficult to make something truly unique, but I'm looking forward to more overclocks and just very excited. So yeah, just, no matter how it turns out, I'm excited and just looking forward to it. So yeah, new season performance pass, always free as always. Wonderful. Good old DRG with that. Absolutely wonderful. So nothing very much else to say there. Just, it's a performance pass and all that season stuff for, you know, each season. So very excited, and I'm looking forward to it. And looking forward to the possible meshes for the season pass. Very excited for that. For like all the weapons and stuff, because that's very exciting for me. And here's something really interesting: reactivating old seasons. Looking for a way to let players activate past seasons and play through them. So, pretty interesting concept. I'm pretty sure like one way you can like look at this is they're giving players an ability to not only, you know, replay old content and like old like season modifiers, like you get rival tech more often, you get Rawpox more often, all that stuff, which actually is pretty solid relatively, just to get completion stuff out of the way, because, you know, like some people may want to get the Prospector drone robot from Rival Tech seasons, and they can't get it to spawn because since it rotated out of season, it's now in a pool of like the Coral Walk and like eventually the Corruptor and all that stuff. So like even if one of those events, like enemy events like spawn is not guaranteed to be a prospector, so kind of forcing the prospector to spawn a little bit more can help some people get their bestiaries filled out, which is quite nice, and when people play through past seasons, it's also very nice, so very excited over that, and yeah, very excited. And over to the minor stuff now. So we got new dance moves. The dwarves are warning, they're getting stronger, their hips more persuasive. Now that's just cursed. But yeah, more dance moves, more cosmetics. Very excited. Cosmetic filtering. Something I actually do need quite a bit, because at some point, like, you just get so many hats and cosmetics or beards in one category where you just can't filter them out easily just by looking through them, so having an actual filter to sort stuff out, and like getting all the helmets in one area, all the certain beards of a certain size in one area, that's wonderful. So very excited about that. It's nice quality of life thing, so yeah, more quality of life tools are always quite nice when it comes to like filtering cosmetics. So very excited. Game optimization, obviously pretty good. Made the game run better. Very good. You know, nothing much else to say there. NVIDIA stuff, I don't know too much about that, but if anyone's able to benefit from it, that's wonderful. And new DLC armor, so obviously gotta keep the whites on somehow. Yeah. Yep, new DLC armor, that's fine. Completely understandable. Like, given the performance pass and all that stuff, like, and all that's free, I'm fine to look over DLC armor. And they usually make a pretty good job doing DLC armor, so like that's fine. Yeah, it's expected. Yeah, that's how the business model of the game works, and completely understandable. So yeah, like, so overall, like, decent amount of information. Very excited for all of it, and yeah, so it's coming out June of this year. At least that's what it says. Hopefully there won't be any delays, but if there's a delay, if there's a delay, then so be it. Like, if the update comes out a month later, but it's more polished, so be it. I'm fine with that. Perfectly happy with that. Like, let the people work on the game when they can. Don't crunch, and so long as the game comes out well, and everything is fine on their side in terms of like not crunching all that stuff, perfect. Yeah, I'm fine with the way if it happens, but you know, as of right now, it's coming out June of this year, so about 3 months from now as of time of recording. So yeah, pretty excited and pretty happy with this news and all that stuff. So yeah, very excited. But yeah, that's the end of the video and all the information we have available so far, at least to my knowledge. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to possibly doing more YouTube stuff in the future. I haven't really talked about the news on YouTube that much, but I've just finished my bachelor's degree and I got certified as well in cybersecurity, so that's why I've been kind of lacking with YouTube stuff for a while, because you know, I had to cut like streaming, YouTube, or personal responsibilities. So personal responsibilities was stuff I couldn't cut, so, and since I was overworked during that time, I had to decide to either cut YouTube or streaming, and I cut YouTube because streaming was a little bit easier, honestly, to handle. But now that I have a lot more free time on my hands and we're moving forward with stuff, I'm gonna get back more into YouTube stuff. We'll probably do a lot more short form content like this and just kind of go over stuff I want to talk about. So yeah. But yeah, either way, everyone, appreciate stopping by, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I have a Twitch, Discord, and a VODs channel if you want to look at those. They will be in the description below. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video, everyone. Please stop by, everyone, and see y'all guys next time, either on stream or in our videos. Yeah. Good night, everyone. Ciao.